The Dallas Cowboys are preparing for one of their biggest moments of the season as they get ready for their annual Thanksgiving game. This year, the matchup is even bigger because they will face the Kansas City Chiefs at AT&T Stadium in Week 13. With only few hours before kickoff, the team released its final injury report, and it brought both good news and bad news for Cowboys fans. The good news is all about star wide receiver George Pickens. At the beginning of the week, Pickens did not practice because of knee and calf issues, which made many fans worried. But the Cowboys have now removed him from the injury report, and he is officially cleared to play. This is a huge boost for Dallas because Pickens has become one of their most dangerous offensive weapons. Having him on the field against a strong Chiefs defense is very important for the team's chances on Thanksgiving. However, the Cowboys also received tough news on the offensive line. Starting left tackle Tyler Guyton has been ruled out because of an ankle injury. Guyton has been playing very well in recent weeks, giving Dak Prescott strong blindside protection, but he will not suit up for the Week 13 game. Losing a starting tackle against a team like Kansas City is a major challenge, and the Cowboys will need their backup to step up in a big way. On the defensive side of the ball, the situation is still uncertain. Promising young cornerback Kalen Carson is dealing with a hamstring injury, and the team says he will be a game-time decision. That means coaches will wait until shortly before kickoff to decide if he can play. Carson has been improving every week, and his presence would help the Cowboys' secondary handle the speed and creativity of the Chiefs' offense. Aside from Guyton and Carson, the rest of the Cowboys' roster is expected to be available. The Chiefs are also dealing with injuries of their own, with Trey Smith, Noah Gray, and Chris Roland Wallace all set to miss the game. Both teams are fighting. The 2025 Dallas Cowboys season has been full of unexpected twists, tough decisions, and surprising success. One move that looked small during the offseason has now become one of the biggest stories in the NFL: the trade that brought George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers to Dallas. At the time, the Cowboys only gave up a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick, while also receiving a 2027 sixth-round pick. Almost nobody talked about it back then, but today many teams see it as one of the best trades of the year. Pickens arrived in Dallas with something to prove. He wanted a fresh start, a new system, and a quarterback who could trust him. Dak Prescott quickly built good chemistry with him, and coaches noticed how Pickens practiced with intensity every day. Because of that effort, his production exploded. Through 11 games, he already reached 67 catches, 1,054 yards, and 8 touchdowns, numbers that shocked rival executives who now admit Jerry Jones pulled off a major heist. Even The Athletic reported that executives around the league are still shaking their heads at how cheap the deal was for a receiver with Pickens' talent. The Cowboys plan to give Pickens a long-term extension after the season, and if that happens, the trade will look even better. He has quickly become the perfect partner for CeeDee Lamb, giving the Cowboys a strong, aggressive, and reliable outside threat. His presence on the field makes the Dallas offense more dangerous, more flexible, and more confident. Dak Prescott now has 2 star receivers who can win contested catches, beat man coverage, and create explosive plays in key moments. As the Cowboys prepare for their Thanksgiving game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Pickens is expected to play despite being limited in practice earlier in the week. This matchup is important because Dallas is coming off a big win over the Philadelphia Eagles, improving their record to 5-5-1. Another win would put the Cowboys above .500 and 500 and push them back into the playoff race. The Chiefs are one of the toughest teams in the league, but Dallas believes they can compete if Prescott, Lamb, and Pickens play at their best. Thanksgiving games are always special for Cowboys fans, and this year's showdown could be one of the most exciting. With Dallas trying to build momentum and Kansas City fighting to stay among the NFL's elite, the atmosphere will be intense. Fans can expect deep shots, contested catches, and plenty of creativity from the Dallas offense. Pickens' energy and big play ability will be a major factor. In the end, Jerry Jones might be getting the last laugh. After months of criticism and doubts, the moves he made, especially the Pickens trade, are finally paying off. What started as a quiet off-season decision has turned into the engine powering Dallas forward. If the Cowboys beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, the entire league will have to admit that Dallas is not done yet, and the Pickens deal may go down as one of the smartest trades of the season. The Dallas Cowboys are entering one of the biggest decisions of the 2026 offseason, and it all centers around wide receiver George Pickens. After joining the Cowboys and putting together a dominant 2025 season, Pickens has become one of the most important players in the entire Dallas offense. Through just 11 games, he has already passed 1,000 receiving yards and scored 8 touchdowns, ranking near the very top of the NFL in both categories. His combination of strength, speed, and ability to win contested catches has made him one of the most feared receivers in the league. Because of this elite production, many fans assumed that the Cowboys would immediately begin working on a long-term extension to keep Pickens in Dallas for many years. However, the situation is far more complicated, and the Cowboys must think carefully before making a decision. The team already has CeeDee Lamb on a massive contract, and paying 2 wide receivers superstar money would limit how much they can invest in other positions. At the same time, Pickens has had some character concerns in his past, especially during his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even in 2025 with Dallas, he has had a few moments that reminded the team of those issues, including being benched for a short period in Week 11 after missing the team bus. Because of all these factors, the Cowboys cannot simply hand him a mega contract without deep consideration. This is where ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler's report becomes important. According to Fowler, the Cowboys are strongly considering using the franchise tag on Pickens in 2026. The tag is expected to cost around $28 million for one season. Fowler explained that the Cowboys are not afraid of that number at all. In fact, the willingness to consider the tag shows that Dallas has strong interest in keeping Pickens. What the team has not decided yet is whether the tag is the best option, or if they should try to work out a long-term deal sooner. The franchise tag provides the Cowboys with flexibility. If they choose to use it, Pickens stays on the roster for at least one more season. This gives the team more time to negotiate, and avoids the risk of losing him in free agency. It also gives Dallas the option to explore a potential tag-and-trade scenario if they cannot agree on a contract later. In many ways, the tag works for the Cowboys because it keeps their options open, protects their investment, and buys time to study the situation further. However, the franchise tag does not work as well for George Pickens himself. According to Fowler, Pickens' camp would prefer a long-term contract rather than playing one season on the tag. There are clear reasons for this. Players want long-term security, especially at a position where injuries happen often. A multi-year extension gives guaranteed money, stability, and peace of mind. With the kind of season Pickens is having, he knows he can earn much more than $28 million per year on the open market. Some receivers are being paid over $30 or even $35 million annually, and Pickens' production puts him close to that category. A one-year tag risks everything because one injury could affect his future value. This creates a tense but interesting situation. The Cowboys love Pickens' talent, but they must think about their future salary cap and team structure. Pickens wants long-term security, but he also wants to be paid like a top receiver. Dallas wants to keep him, but they want to do it on terms that make sense for the team. At the same time, Jerry Jones has publicly said he is open to keeping Pickens long-term. He sees Pickens as an important piece of the Cowboys' offense, and wants to give Dak Prescott the best weapons possible. But Jerry Jones has also been clear that any contract must match what is best for the entire organization. As we look ahead to the 2026 offseason, there are 4 realistic outcomes. The first is that the Cowboys and Pickens agree to a long-term extension, keeping him in Dallas for years to come. This is the cleanest solution, and likely the most satisfying for fans. The second option is that the Cowboys use the franchise tag, giving them time to continue negotiating. The third option is a tag-and-trade, which would send Pickens to another team in exchange for draft picks while allowing him to sign a huge contract elsewhere. The final option, although unlikely, is that the Cowboys let him walk in free agency, which would be a major loss. No matter which path the Cowboys choose, the truth is simple: George Pickens has become a core part of the Dallas Cowboys' identity. His playmaking ability changes games, forces defenses to adjust, and creates big opportunities for the rest of the offense. He has rare talent that is difficult to replace. But talent alone does not make contract decisions easy. The Cowboys must balance performance, personality, long-term planning, and financial responsibility. As the 2026 offseason approaches, all eyes will be on the Cowboys front office. Fans want to know whether George Pickens will stay in Dallas for the long term, play under the franchise tag, or become part of a major trade. Whatever happens, this decision will shape the future of the franchise and define how the Cowboys move forward in their quest for a championship. The Dallas Cowboys produced one of the most shocking comebacks of the entire NFL season when they erased a 21-point deficit and defeated the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Dak Prescott was the center of everything. He had a hand in all 3 touchdowns, made huge throws in the final minutes, and led the drive that set up the game-winning field goal. The victory kept the Cowboys alive in the playoff race, improving their record to 5-5-1 as they prepare for a short week before facing the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. When Prescott was asked how such an unbelievable comeback was even possible, he did not talk about himself. Instead, he repeated one word 4 times: defense. Prescott explained that the defense kept giving the offense chance after chance. He said that without the way the defense played, the Cowboys would have never won this game. This statement is even more powerful when you look back 1 month and remember how badly the Cowboys' defense struggled. During the blowout loss to the Denver Broncos, Dallas gave up 6 touchdowns in 7 drives and ranked near the bottom of the league in almost every category. But everything changed at the trade deadline. Dallas used one of the first-round picks they received from the Micah Parsons trade to acquire defensive tackle Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets. Since Williams arrived, Dallas is 2-0. The impact has been immediate. In the win over Las Vegas, the defense allowed only 236 yards and held the Raiders to one of their worst third-down performances of the season. And against the Eagles, Dallas played its best stretch of defense all year, shutting Philadelphia out for the final 41 minutes of the game. Quinnen Williams said after the win that the whole defense is starting to click together. He explained that even though he is a high-impact player, nobody can do it alone. He believes the Cowboys' defense is finally communicating, executing, and trusting each other on every snap. That teamwork showed in the biggest moment, when Osa Odigizwa sacked Jalen Hurts on 3rd down late in the 4th quarter. That stop gave the Cowboys one more possession, and this time Prescott and the offense finished the job with Brandon Aubrey's game-winning kick. Odigizwa also talked about how the defensive improvements matched perfectly with the Cowboys' offensive strength. He said the offense has been strong all season, so the defense's job is simple: get stops and give the offense more chances to score. The comeback win, he said, shows the team's identity. They fight on every play, scratch for every inch, and never quit when the game gets tough. On the offensive side, one of the most exciting storylines is the connection between Dak Prescott and wide receiver George Pickens. Pickens, who arrived in an off-season trade with Pittsburgh, has become one of the best playmakers in the league. His spectacular 43-yard leaping catch in the 4th quarter was one of the key plays that allowed the Cowboys to tie the game. Pickens has already tied his career high in catches 3 different times this season, and he is on pace for more than 1,700 receiving yards, a superstar pace. But while Pickens continues to shine, CeeDee Lamb is struggling with drops. Lamb had important drops in the season opener against Philadelphia, and he had more against the